really not too keen on wearing gloves while holding little animals because they deaden your fingers and you can't tell how tightly you might be squeezing the creature. But in the case of this character, I do it because they've got a ferocious set of choppers and they can bite you very hard, and it's trying to do that to me now. What is it? A beautiful little Australian. It's one of the world's most beautiful animals, I think, a sugar glider, and it's one of the possums. Possums are marvellously adapted for their life in the trees. You can see, well, you imagine when you go climbing, you have your hands to help you, and you've got a thumb. Well, this is the possum's hand. It really hasn't got much of a thumb, it's just in there, but largely it's 5 fingers just poking out the front, like that. But you have a look at the hind foot. Quite unlike yours or mine, I just attach that there. You can see that it's got a thumb on it, where your big toe would be, a thumb pointing to the side. If I grab a little twig and poke it in there, you can see the way it uses that hind foot to grip on a branch. Here we go. Gotcha! You can see that little thumb wrapping around the branch and holding very well. So it can stand on a branch, actually gripping the way we would with our thumbs and our fingers, and use its front feet for tearing down food, which it bites with those terrific teeth that are now trying to get through my glove. Well, this is a little gliding possum. The possum you might be most familiar with is the one that thumps around on your roof at night, the common brushtail, and that's not a gliding possum. That's a rather round possum. You can imagine that if a round possum, like this, was to jump from the top of a tree, it would simply go straight down. Kerr, plop. But if you could take that possum and spread it out thinly, here's the same amount of possum but spread into a sheet, and let it go, it would come down like this. Swoop, swoop, swoop. It would glide. And that's the trick that the gliders have. They're possums, but they're gliding possums, and they do it with this bit of skin on their side. It runs from the front foot back to the hind foot. You can see if I stretch it out there, it's really like a Batman cape or a parachute. It's very wide, and if they put the arms and the legs pointing out to the 4 corners, it makes a very big sheet of skin. They actually glide down rather like the piece of paper and can go from tree to tree. A beautiful little creature. Well, it's not a rare creature, but events of recent years have certainly given it some problems because the bushfires come along, not only burning the trees and the food and some possums, but burning the places where the possums live. Because these things live in hollow logs. And you can imagine in a forest like that, when the trees have been burnt, there aren't any hollow logs. They're dead, they burn and they go.